Good evening, everyone. It's our May 2025 Delta Club board meeting. Glad everybody's able to join us tonight. With that, I'll kick it over to Perry real quick for our opening roll call and we'll get started.
Good evening, everyone. President Joe Plunk.
Present.
Vice President Tyler Henley.
Present.
Secretary Perry Hayes is here. Treasurer James Martin.
I am here.
Director of Training Joe Lowenthal. Yes, I see Joe
Here.
You're muted. Okay, thank you, Joe. Director of Programs Adam White. We're expecting in a minute. Director of Meetings and Special Events Scott Adams.
Here.
Director of Publications Michael Harrison.
Here.
Repeater Trustee Daniel Fleek.
Here.
We do have a quorum, Mr. President.
Well, Perry, thank you so very much. Appreciate it. Thank you, everyone, for taking time out of your day and joining us. It is a calm moment of time in our club activities before we get really busy next month, for field day. Looking forward to field day, actually. I know last month was Free Fest and we had a great time there and the club was well represented and we had a little bit of traction there at our sale booth, not tons, but some. Appreciate Joe and all the ones that helped Joe man the booth there for Free Fest. That was much appreciated. I know that we typically have a couple of events in May. I consulted our yearly planner and we had a March of Dimes event. I haven't seen that come up in a while. Or is that still something that's out there? I'll ask the collective.
Do not believe that they're doing it at all.
Very good. All righty. With that, we'll move into just a quick review of any past minutes, board or meeting. If we've got any corrections or additions that need to be made to those, otherwise we'll move to approve any outstanding minutes. Is there any discussion around outstanding minutes?
Joe, I did have one comment. It was about the section about the Armed Forces Day. Joe Lowenthal made a suggestion about what Ham needed as far as people operating the station, and that was in the amended minutes that I sent out this afternoon. That was the only change.
All right, very good. Well, Perry, thank you for that quick update. Is there any additional discussion around the minutes? Otherwise, I would entertain a motion to approve them and forward them to the members.
Speak up.
I make a motion we approve the minutes.
All right, motion made by Mike and seconded by
I will second.
Tyler. All right, thank you, everyone. So the motion on the floor is to approve the minutes as amended and circulated by our Secretary Perry. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
No opposition, motion carries. Thank you, everyone. With that, we'll move into our membership renewals and new applications. This particular month, we still have, it's all renewals. So that is a good thing to be seen. Is there any discussion needed on the members that are renewing? All right, hearing no discussion on the renewals, I'd entertain a motion to approve our memberships that are renewals, our members that are renewing.
I would move to
Go ahead.
All of the applications, renewal applications for membership.
Second.
Motion made by Perry and seconded by Dan. All in favor, please say aye.
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 All right, motion carries to approve our membership renewals. Thank you very much, everyone. Moving through business pretty quickly. All right, Jim, for the treasurer's report. I've got that in the deck for you. So let me delete that slide right quick that I accidentally injected, and then we will make this bigger. And all right, Jim, I'll turn the floor over to you.
All right. So this month we had a fair number of renewals, as you mentioned. We got at least 6 there, and I think we still have a couple. I received one in the mail today that did not get deposited yet. And I'll have to get with you on I think we had a couple others that I still need to deposit to catch up. But starting out the month with our checking, we began with $16,105.15. We had $498 in deposits and checks written in the amount of $340.03, bringing us to a total of $16,263.12. You can see that we had the 6 renewals at $120, plus some other deposits. We had the sale of 2 patches. So there's another $10 that that brings us to the club equipment sale. Thanks so much to Joe for facilitating these the club's presence at these events and for making deposits and sales. So we had $321 collected from the Trenton Ham Fest. I think that's including a $5 donation. I didn't break it out to include the donation at the top. Typically, I would have donations listed there under the applications received. But in this case, it was deposited with the club equipment sale. So I didn't want to kind of confuse things with having deposits listed there that don't match up exactly with what the bank records show. So I kept it together. And then we had club equipment sale at Free Fest and some at Farley's Ridge. That came to a total of $47. That's subtracting the cost of tables, admission, that kind of thing, or tables, I guess.
Tables at Free Fest.
Yeah. And then so that brings us to that total deposit of $498. And then we had a number of checks written. So check 1643, that was a voided check. So I just listed that just so that we know that that check will not show up in our checking statement. But then check 1644 was made to Joe Lowenthal. That was for reimbursement of the 2 Bioenno lithium iron phosphate batteries that were donated to Free Fest. Check 1645 in the amount of $93.07. That was when we went to Sam's Club to get refreshments. And then check 1648 was made out to Kroger for additional refreshments. Thank you, Scott, for taking care of that. So all in total, the checks came to $340.03. That matches up with what the bank statement shows. So everything is in order there. We can go to the next page.
What about check 46 and 47?
Those checks were written to Dan for his reimbursement for some equipment or some, was
I'm a slacker. I need to cash him.
yeah, so one was for a coax jumper and the other one was for reimbursement for purchase of a Raspberry Pi that's used on the 8.2 machine. So those checks, let's see, the Raspberry Pi was $69.04. The coax jumper was $131.10, and those just haven't been deposited yet. So they haven't cleared the bank, and therefore I left them off of the report. And then we have our 2 CDs. both will mature later on this year. Let's see, one in August and one in October. And they continue to earn a favorable interest there. That's all I have. Any questions or anybody need any fills?
Excellent. All right, with that, if there are no questions or additions to the treasurer's report, and Jim, thank you for that detail, appreciate it greatly. Let's move to approve the treasurer's report. I'd entertain that motion from anyone on the floor.
I move that we accept the treasurer's report as presented.
Motion made by Perry to approve the treasurer's report as presented and seconded by. All
Second.
right, somebody second. All right, Adam seconded it. Very good. So Adam's motion made by Perry, seconded by Adam to approve the treasurer's report as presented. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Fantastic. All right, thank you, everyone. Real quick, Adam's joined us and Jonathan has joined us as well. Jonathan, welcome. Adam, welcome. I apologize for the tardiness on the admit button.
All right. Took me forever to get my Zoom updated. I hadn't run the Zoom client since like version 5.
Totally understand. All right, we're working through our new business section here. We'll take a minute and ask if anyone has bills that they need to present to Jim that they haven't presented. So we'll take a minute and talk through those. I've got a couple, Jim, that I'll lead off with. I have got the annual Zoom renewal that cleared in April, so I will bring you or email you the invoice so that we can get that taken care of at the membership meeting.
I've got one for printer
any-
ink. I'm not sure exactly what the amount is right now. I don't have the bill in front of me.
Okay.
All right, and I did receive an email from Mr. Lowenthal giving me a heads up that he had gotten the fare from Klein Tours. So it's not due until August, the beginning of August, but we will have to coordinate the signing of a check. And that will have to go out near the end of July if the bus trip is on.
Okay. We'll circle around and talk about the Huntsville bus trip for sure in a couple of minutes. Good to know that the invoice is already here, so appreciate that. Just real quick, Scott, how's everything working out with the arrangement that we're trying to work through for the tax exempt and the gift cards? Is that working, or did that work well?
Kroger's easy to do a tax exempt. Sam's and Costco are going to have to be a membership thing. And
Right, so we'll
I have to decide on the membership, either it's Sam's or Costco. I'm thinking more
Okay.
on the lines of Sam's, since I'm able to get more. I get a variety of stuff compared to Costco.
okay. And that would be a Delta Club Sam's membership, if I understood correctly. Is that
is
correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, do you happen to know the membership fee off the top of your head for that? Go ahead.
I was
Go ahead, Jim.
just gonna say well, not knowing exactly how much that fee is, but we may want to weigh whether it's advantageous for us to actually get a membership. And I mean, are we going to save enough considering that we may need more than one person to show up, or we need to get together or meet up to sign checks, or do we consider pre-signing some checks and providing those to Scott so that he can do the shopping on his own? I don't want
Well,
this to become more trouble than it's worth for us to
Sure.
save a couple of dollars if we're eating that up with gas driving back and forth and that kind of stuff. So
I just realized something as an aside.
Mhm.
I do know or believe that both Costco and Sam's will allow you to enter the club without a membership if you're using a gift card. And when you purchase the gift card, it's not taxed at time of purchase, it's taxed at time of use. So the question would be, would we be able to present a gift card and the tax certificate at purchase time at Sam's or Costco and saying, hey, I've got this gift card, I've got a tax exempt status. We would need a membership that way because you would be able to get in because you have a gift card. We forgot to ask that question. That might be an interesting question to ask.
I suspect that probably wouldn't fly because they wanted to tie the tax exempt status to a business account. Oh,
And that is true as well.
yeah, so I'm not sure if there's a way around that or not. But it's worth asking that question to
Okay.
customer service.
So that's kind of where we stand on that. We might also ask the question because we don't know if they allow nonprofits to have a free or reduced cost membership. That might be something we can also ask as well.
It looks
I
like
forgot
they
to ask that
do,
question. Okay.
because their
I
membership,
didn't mean to.
yeah, their membership's $50 a year. The first year, I think they give you a $30 off, so it's $20. But if you go to the membership desk and you've got your tax exempt documents, I don't know, they may do it.
So Jim, that might be worth exploring to say, hey, here's our IRS letter, here's our tax certificate. We're a nonprofit. Can we get a free or reduced cost membership, and then kind of circle it up that way, so that we don't have to pay the $50 or $60, which is about what we would be saving on the tax exempt status for the year based on the budgeted amount of the food and beverages that Scott's acquiring. So it's a very good point to bring up that, hey, do we erase all the savings by getting the membership?
Yep.
So a couple of questions there. If Jim, if you'll just remind us all or help me follow up on that with maybe you or Dan or I, or we'll follow up on that and try to get some of those questions answered and see if we can't make it work out a little smoother.
Okay, I can look into that.
Fantastic. Are there any other bills that anyone has that they would like to mention or present? All right. Let's talk real quick, Adam, about our membership meeting topics for next week, actually. I know that on the 6 p.m. hour, that's kind of right now, kind of the tech support roundtable discussions. Is there a specific topic for this particular month?
No, nothing specific, just whatever
Okay.
people want to bring. And then for the regular meeting will be Ed Fong via Zoom. And soon
He
as
does
soon as I get the link from you, I'll get it to him and ask for his spreadsheet on a group buy and try to pass the info on that.
Okay.
I thought you were going to bring a 60-foot dish. We could bring our 60-foot dishes in and get them programmed.
Ed Fong is very entertaining. He's a really smart guy too.
Yeah.
I'll try to work the membership meeting that we do the business really quick, have a really quick break so that we give Ed as much time as we can give him on that meeting, because he is a very good, well-versed presenter and does a good job presenting to a group.
What is the
He's
topic?
very adept.
That's a good question. He has a few that he goes through, but it's usually on the DBJ that he designs and builds and sells, and why
We need a
it's-
topic for the Sparks.
Okay, well, yeah. I don't want to send him 3 emails at once, so I'm just waiting on link from Joe.
I'll get that to you right after this meeting, Adam. I apologize.
Great.
All right. I assume we're going to give Ed the whole segment there and not have a part 2.
Yeah.
Very good. All right. Thanks, Adam. We'll circle back around. We'll move into committee reports for just a minute, and I'll jump ahead of the repeater and any updates that we might have there. Mary Jean reached out today and said she is wrapping up school and is eager to get started back on the bylaws, the bylaws and the work, and start doing that right after school finishes up for her. So we'll make a announcement on that. I'll write it something. She's going to write something up for Sparks. Mike's will look something for that. Jonathan look something for that. And then we'll also make mention of that at the membership meeting. So if you're interested in, want to be and help reshape the bylaws and kind of fix some of the little problems that we've kind of discovered over the last year or two, Mary Jean's going to try to fire that up and work that through the summer. Also, as a quick aside, when you see Mary Jean, give her a big hearty congratulations. She has been accepted in the ARRL's Teacher Institute for this summer. So that is a phenomenal accomplishment for her, and she's very excited to be heading up to the Teachers Institute for the summer.
It's actually October for her.
Very good. Thank you, Joe. But she was very excited to have been selected for that. All right, we'll turn it over. And Dan, you want to give us a quick update on how our repeaters and everything are going?
They still work. Yeah, I had a conversion at work, so I haven't done anything in the last month. Except go out there and take a couple pictures of some stuff I was thinking about. I've got the next 2 Saturdays where I'm busy with one fire department, then the next weekend I'm going to Dayton. So after that, I don't know, Adam, if we could, and Joe, anybody else that wanted to go, if we could do a Saturday where we're going to go back and get the 220 radio back on the air.
So is that going to be Memorial Day weekend, Dan, or is that
24th is Memorial Day weekend. Or we can do it to 31st. It doesn't matter to me.
okay?
We can hit
The
the
only reason I
31st.
asked personally is on Memorial Day weekend I'm out, but I would gladly go on the 31st personally.
Okay. That'll get us time to see if we can get like some backup coax from Ham and get connectors and stuff.
Okay.
I think the UPS may have crowbarred again on the APRS, so I'm going to have to go back up there and do a reset. And I want to take that surge suppressor that Scott gave me and put it on there.
All right, very good.
And
how is the real quick question? How's the power supply repair? Have you looked at that for the 8.2 site? Actually, it's for the 440.
No, I haven't.
443.7.
Yeah, I haven't done that yet. I'm gonna work on that this weekend a little bit. It looks like all the parts are easily purchasable for it.
All right. Any questions from anyone to Dan on that? A real quick, Joe, thank you for sending out the update to the net control operators regarding the 8.2 and Skywarn and the weather nets that may be active. It is kind of the weather season, so I appreciate you sending that update out. Thank you much. All right. Some new topics I will move into. Sparks. I definitely would like, I'm going to ask real pointedly for everyone in the board. I'd like to see everyone have an article in Sparks this month. Tyler, I'd love to see you talk about field day, please. Putting you on the hot seat there for a second. And the other thing that I'd ask about Sparks is also because Mike is working with Jonathan, who's joined us tonight. I'm kind of working him through and apprenticing him through to the position. I'd like for us to work as hard as we can to try to get our Sparks articles in as early as we can. And I'm just as guilty as anyone for being late. So I'm talking to myself more than anybody else. With that, are any other questions, Mike or Jonathan? You want to talk about Sparks for a minute?
I'm not sure when I'm going to be able to work on it. I know Saturday I've got drill and I'm moving a line at work. So it may be Sunday afternoon or evening after Mother's Day festivities. So play it by ear. I'll get it out as soon as I can.
All right.
And I will work with Jonathan so that he can see the website side of it. I think he's pretty up on how to copy and paste into Word and that kind of thing. So I really won't waste a lot of his time, but maybe get him involved on the website side. But Jonathan, I'll be in touch with you on when that'll go down and see if you're available.
Sure. Yep. Just reach out to me. Text me.
Yep.
Joe,
Thank you.
Joe,
Yes, sir.
you're
Yes,
asking
sir.
for Spark, an article. Why don't you divide the board up to 3, 3, and 3 and do it that way? Because if 9 people came in, I think that is an abuse of your eyesight for the Sparks.
Um,
Three's
I
better
would
than
love
none.
okay, I'll go with that. But I'm also excluding myself because I'm already contributing an article. But I hear your point. I'd love to just see more content in there right now. Right now, we've got 4 or 5 pages, and that's about all we get. And then there's a bunch of other stuff that kind of repeats every month. So I guess, Joe, to your point, everybody, we don't have to overwhelm, but let's just try to work together, and we can communicate on the email group if we need to, and just get some articles in there. Tyler will have one about field day, so that's one. Yes, I'm putting you on the spot, Tyler, again. Joe, if you want to write one, or if you want to work with Scott or Adam, maybe that'd be another one. I'm sure Adam might write some, and Dan might write something. So I mean, between the group, I think we'll get a couple of additional articles in. So Joe, I think I hear your point, acknowledge that if we all put an article in there, it might be a little overwhelming. So thank you for that, Joe.
Okay.
All right. Want to just take a quick minute. And Perry, I didn't really give you a heads up on this, but I'll just ask you kind of off the cuff real quick. How do you think we're doing on renewals as far as tracking through the membership this year?
I am a little disappointed. I think if you look at the numbers, we still have some people I would consider regulars that have not renewed. It's unusual to me to look at the actual numbers because I know at the meetings, the tables are very full. I have a lot of people contact me during the month to ask me, did I renew this month? Did I not renew this month? So I really feel like it's important to people and they want to do it, but I do recognize that there are some people, who just I think mean to do it, want to do it, would do it in a second, but just must have forgotten or something else.
Good.
I don't know if that's your reaction too as you look through it. I know we always mean to get together on that and we don't, but I'm surprised by the bottom line number, but when I look at it, I feel like, it's tracking pretty well. We just have some obvious people that always renew. Maybe they just haven't gotten around to it this year yet.
Okay. So I think to that point, maybe that's a really good position, an article that we might throw out there. I might mention it again. I'll try to put it at the bottom of my article always, just to ask somebody to join. That might be a good show, spotlight article to say, hey, if you haven't renewed, we'd still love to see your renewal. Just as a highlighted article in Sparks. All right. Thank you, Perry. Appreciate that. Anybody else have any observations on renewals?
Just maybe even having PayPal available. I don't know, because people don't carry. I don't even know where my checkbook is, and I'm lucky to have cash on me sometimes. So if I go to the meeting and I don't have, forgot my money, then the next meeting I forgot my money. So kind of wonder if, hey, just shoot this and
Yeah, you put a
It-
QR
it-
code on the table for the PayPal membership renewal. I mean, probably everybody that knows how to do that will do it that hasn't renewed.
Jim, remind us, do we have a PayPal or a Venmo or what? We have something. I just don't remember what we have.
We did set up a PayPal account and struggled with, getting it approved because, as a nonprofit entity. It's been several years since that was done, and we never formalized, or we never completed the whole process. I can go through.
But we do
what's
still have it though.
Yes, yeah, we still have an account.
Okay.
And it is tied to our checking. We
I
just,
would get.
I think we were trying to figure out, did we pass along the cost of, the fees? We, pass that along to the members, and so, a $20 membership is actually, it ends up costing $22 or, what have you.
We had suggested to pass along that cost.
Yeah.
I think for most people that would be fine.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's reasonable.
68 cents per stamp and the check and an envelope. So it's almost a dollar there.
Yeah. I
Convenience.
I would guess too, probably, Jim, at the time you didn't have the paperwork, the attestation letter that they required, and we got that now. So
I'll revisit that and see. I'm sure some of their policies have changed over the years, and make sure that we have all the paperwork they would want. And I think we just need to also make sure that it's actually going to work. We'll have to do a little test.
Yep.
So
Sure.
Mary Jean and I did set that up once upon a time, and we did some tests, but we just never did turn it on. I don't really remember if it was just lack of time, but Mary Jean and I did do that, and she she put $1 in, and it charged her $1.04 or something like that. Hold on.
Okay. So Jim, I don't want to put too much on you, but if you could do a little inquiry on that, since you've got the kind of the background and the understanding of that, that would be super helpful. I think that could be a powerful tool to kind of help us along with renewals.
Yeah. Agreed.
Any other discussion around that? And then I'll segue into the next topic I want to talk about real quick. All right. The next topic that I have on our agenda is to talk about the past president position. The past president, as the position is Ty. Ty has not renewed or paid any dues for this year. Board members need to be in good standing with their dues to be an active board member. So while we can't refill the position of past president, I do believe that we have the presence to be able to say that the position is vacant, meaning that there's no active member in that position. With that, I'd open the floor to just kind of discuss that as an option to say, okay, look, our past president position is vacant due to non-dues payment. So I'll open up the floor to kind of discuss.
If it becomes vacant because of non-dues, then why wouldn't a previous past president be available or a possibility?
Our bylaws don't have any mechanism to refill or reappoint the position.
Okay.
That's probably an item for Mary Jean's bylaw committee.
Indeed.
If the president is vacated, then the past president may remain.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how that's going to be best to resolve.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been some discussion, president emeritus, which is not, I mean, there's lots of ways to approach that. That I'll let her and her committee kind of dive into the mechanics of that. But the reality of the situation is we've got a position and a person that's filling that position that's not an active member. And I think we just need to simply address the fact that there's no longer an active member in that position, and that the position has no mechanism to be refilled unless that member chooses to pay their dues.
I think to address the dues, it's not just the dues, it's the non-participation that justifies it.
Mm-hmm. And that is also the case as well.
Yep. So it's not like, Tyler's late on paying dues or something,
Right. And I don't know, yeah, the bylaws don't explicitly have a mechanism for this to be dealt with. The only mechanism in the bylaws is board members need to be current on their dues. So there's a little bit of ambiguity or surrounding that process, and I don't know how to.
Criteria for board members, at least six meetings.
Yep.
Understood, right? But they also have to have their dues in good standing. And
right.
The dues are not in good standing either.
Yeah.
It's not one or the other, it's both.
That is also correct. The sixth missed meeting would be in June. And then at that point, we would absolutely be able to address the fact that, hey, through non-meeting attendance and through no dues, the position is vacant but not refillable.
But he did not have he didn't have 6 meetings in 2024 either.
Yep. January, February, March. That was it.
Correct. That is absolutely correct, because he did not attend in April, May, June, July, any of those meetings as well. So based on that, I think we're within our bylaws and guidelines to be able to say that position is vacant. I don't know that it takes a motion or anything. I just think we're just going to say the position, and this is more of a discussion with the board at large as a group. I think we're just going to be able to say, hey, the position is vacant. due to non-compliance with meeting attendance and dues payment, and it's not refillable. Any other thoughts or discussion? Joe, thank you for that. Perry, anyone else?
I think I appreciate Joe's additional comments. I just think that's another thing to look at that over the last 12 months.
Just a quick thought, Perry, on you for just a second. What do you, to the board at large as well, how do we want to just handle that? Just say, hey, this is what's happened and here it is and move on, or just kind of stop calling it and just make a little quick note at the membership meeting saying, hey, this position's vacant, and move on. I'm opening kind of the floor to have a quick discussion around that.
I like that. I like
Yeah.
a brief little thing to the membership and just say exactly what we've said tonight. You know, we consider the position of past president to be vacant, you know, for these reasons, and our bylaws don't have a mechanism to put anyone else in that spot. So, you know, for the rest of this year, or until we change the bylaws, or until, you know, we elect a new president, you know, we just consider that position on our board of directors to be vacant, and just kind of put that to the membership and let them hear it. I think that would be a perfect way to handle it.
Okay. Any thoughts? Anyone else?
I guess just as a question, you know, we all voted for that. So should we all vote for this, or is this just following bylaws?
That is a very good question, Mike. Procedurally, it is following our bylaws.
Okay.
So I don't believe that there's anything needed beyond that. That's why I kind of wanted to bring it up, talk about it, and put it, you know, so
Why
that
don't we vote on that? We consider that the position is open.
I think that's
Okay.
I think that's a good idea. Was there,
I think
what's
that's
the
totally
negatives of that?
not a thing.
I don't see any negatives to that.
All right, I'd entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we show our president emeritus. Is that the correct
Past president.
immediate
Second
past
term as
president
past president.
as vacant based upon non-attendance of meetings and non-payment of dues?
I second.
All right. Motion made by Mike, seconded by Joe. The motion on the floor is to move. The motion is to consider the past president's position vacant due to lack of attendance and non-dues payment. Motion's properly made and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Thank you, everyone. Perry, thank you for that. If you need anything, I'll make sure you get the recording so you can get that transcribed as needed.
Thank you.
All right, let's talk about something fun. Field day. Let me give you a real quick update on the clubs that are participating with field day, and then I'm going to turn the floor over to a roundtable discussion to talk about field day. So I've talked to Fred Miller with Neshoba, and Neshoba is all in and ready and excited for field day and at the place that we've had it for the last couple of years in Germantown. Fred has a trick up his sleeve. He is negotiating with a tree removal company to potentially get us a large crane to have for getting antennas up in the air. That hasn't happened yet, so we're still working to get that taken care of. I have circled around and talked to Rick Kinchek with the MARA club, and their club has voted to not participate with Neshoba and Delta this year. They are going to do their own thing out at the WKNO transmitter site. So as far as our field day group, it'll be Neshoba and Delta Club at the Germantown, located at the pavilion in Germantown. So that's kind of the who. We know when it's going to be. We know where the location is going to be. Tyler, I need to get with you and let's put together a shareable schedule, whether we either do that as a Google form or a Google sheet that we can do through our org, and I'll work with you on that. And then I want to open the floor up to let's talk about how we might brainstorm getting some antennas up in the air and getting our operators together. And then the last thing that I'll point out before I kind of open the floor up, with MARA not participating and not contributing financially to the budget for food or any of the excess free fest food that they have normally donated in the past, we might need additional budget to be considered for the field day budget to kind of supplement that. So we've got two options there. We could either ask the membership to approve a change in budget, or we could use the board's discretionary line item to cover whatever we think we might need. So I'll put that out on the floor, and then at this point, I'll kind of open up the floor for discussion around field day.
The budget's 250. Is that correct?
I believe that is correct, Joe, because typically MARA has kicked in that much as well for a total budget of about $500. I don't know how much Neshoba is going to bring to the table. I'll circle up and ask Fred that.
If MARA is not going to be there, that means there's going to be less people total though, right?
In the past, the MARA has been 5 or 6 people. And most of the MARA membership, with a few exceptions, actually are dual membership.
Got
Any other thoughts?
I'd say use
I
take
did
it from discretionary funds. And if we have to go back after field day, we can ask for a change in the budget.
I think that's a workable solution. One of the things that I did talk to Fred Miller about was possibly having a kind of a quick impromptu out of cycle meeting between the two clubs to kind of get together and maybe meet on site where field day is and kind of talk about some of the things, how can we make better antennas for the site? Fred's got his 20-meter antenna. If he is able to secure the crane, I'd love to do something with 80 meters, either a large 80-meter loop or even an 80-meter vertical. That'd be kind of fun.
You don't have to have a
just
crane. The slingshot will do it. And John Reiners has used a drone to drop wires.
Understood. But the crane's cool. It makes it stand out. But I get your point that
The question is, they don't want you driving on the grass. So where's the crane going to be?
there's a nice parking lot that could be either up on the other things. Because one of the things that we did want to try to do this year is try to get the operators a little closer together, and the antennas can be scattered out a little bit. I think we've all got a decent length. We've all have decent lengths of coax that we could run to the antennas, so the operators could come a little more centrally, and the antennas can be on the ends of 130 feet, 140 feet of coax, and not interfere with anything. But to your point, to your question, the crane would be up either behind. There's 2 parking lots behind, up either on the GAC parking lot or right there by the tennis, the low parking lot there by the tennis area where the crane could sit there. And it's not going to be a large crane. I think it's more like a cherry picker kind of crane that just has a really long boom. Fred doesn't have the details yet. And then we do have the light poles there that are there. We could put potentially either dipole or a loop up on. I have measured it. I personally have gone out and measured it, and I think we could actually build a rhombic using the light poles and the trees if we wanted to try to get creative. But would love to try to get some other people involved in trying to work that out before field day. So Tyler, you have any thoughts on that? Who we might be able to look into or engage to come help us?
So I've talked to Josh Cunningham, at iOS. So some of y'all may know, some of y'all might know, I've changed Army Reserve units. And unfortunately, I will now be at drill instead of being able to be at field day this summer. So Josh is going to be able to pick up some of the slack on the front end for me. My cat doesn't get in the way. So a couple other, I'm going to put some more bugs in ears next Tuesday. I've got a very rough draft of a con-op kind of going forward. And then, but if anybody has any ideas, feel free, because I have had to shift into, maybe I'll be able to talk to y'all on 20 or 40 meters, because I'm going to take my stuff up there and set up after drill and try and make some contacts. But I mean, I wish I had gooder news, as my kids would say, but that's where I am currently. But Josh did say he would be more than willing to step up and try and help, especially on the front end. He might not be able to do the full 24 like I was going to, but he said he's going to do everything he can to help, especially on the setup side.
Okay. All right, Tyler, thanks for that update. We'll need to find, we'll have to work with Fred, maybe somebody in the Neshoba as well, and we can find a cook team. Because one of the big things that we did say that we wanted to do this year is, instead of trying to do like a, pizza or sandwiches or anything, we do a hot dogs and hamburgers kind of thing on the grill, or even maybe modeling after the success we had when Tyler did Winter Field Day. You bring your own protein, we'll have the hot grill. That could be a lot of fun too. So we need someone to kind of step in and kind of lead us through that cook team group. Looking at you, Dan. To try to get that figured out and taken care of. All right, any other observations on field day right at the moment? I know the more details will come forthcoming as we'll circulate some emails and kind of nail a few more things down. It's a big event.
The better separation of the antennas, the more satisfaction you're going to have with field day.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, Tyler, any luck on the 10-meter band pass?
No, I was just about to call myself out when you did the vice president. I was supposed to call Jim and be like, hey man, how do we order this bandpass filter? But no, that one went right over me this month.
No worries. Yes, sir, Joe. More separation is much better, and our locations lead to being well separated. The challenge that I was just pointing out is the antennas can be separated, but the operators don't necessarily have to, because it's HF and the coax losses aren't huge if you run a good coax. And I personally have a couple 100 feet of LMR 400 that I'll be bringing. All right, anything else on field day? Well, imagine what we could do if we put a VHF, UHF antenna up on the top of the crane. That'd be a lot of fun. Oh, sorry. Joe, you want to talk about Huntsville bus trip real quick?
Okay. The contract with Klein has been signed by me and sent back to them, and a copy sent to Jim. It's $2,575 for the bus. And we will have an article in Sparks this month and start taking money at the May meeting. I've already sent an email out to previous riders and trying to, get their attention, whether they're active in the club or not. And we'll probably need to send out some individual emails to the club email list to try to encourage more riders this year. But it is going, and we've got 2 tables where we had last year at Huntsville, 4 tables. And we've got equipment to take with us.
Very good. And our travel time is still, it's about 3.5 hours to get there, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, about 3 hours and 15 minutes is what it's taken generally.
Okay.
So it's about 9:45 when we get there.
Do you see, or just, I'm asking because I'm just curious. Excuse me. Do we have or see or appreciate any value of trying to get our stuff there earlier for our tables, or have we traditionally done well enough with arriving an hour or so late?
I don't think they open until 9 o'clock. So we're only
Correct.
45 minutes
That's my
late.
understanding. Okay.
I don't think, getting there, the equipment earlier is going to help out that much. And the question is, who's going to go in an individual car to open it up?
Valid question.
That's the whole purpose of the bus, is to keep people from having to drive.
Absolutely. I just think where I was also headed with that is, I think if the bus absolutely leaves at 6:30 sharp, then we can get there and not be much later. So that's kind of where I was headed as well.
We can't leave much earlier because there's a 15-hour total time that the driver can be driving.
Makes sense. Otherwise, we have to carry a reserve driver, and that adds to the price.
Yep.
All right. Well, I have reached the end of the agenda that I had. Is there anything that anybody else would like to toss out here? We can talk, run around everybody and just check and see if you've got anything else you want to add. Tyler, you're first up, so I'll just see if there's anything else that you want to mention or talk about.
No, we've talked about most everything. If y'all are willing, the only thing I ask, or that Josh and I ask, is if y'all are willing to have any equipment at Field Day, please call or email me, so that way we can get a better list going and know exactly what we're going to be bringing to the table. I know we're still a little whiles out, but if you've got something that you're going to bring, it would be greatly appreciated from both of us if we knew about it beforehand, so we can build out what we're trying to do.
We can have a Yaesu 891 radio there.
All right.
The club has an 891.
The club. Okay. Duh. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well. Yes. Other than that, that's all I get. I hate that I'm going to miss it this year, but I've had a once in a lifetime chance for my Army career, and I took it. Not going to make it this year.
Totally understand. Thank you for that, Tyler. Perry, we'll circle over to you.
I'm a man of few words. I have nothing else to add, Mr. President.
Thank you, sir. Jim, we'll circle around to you.
I have nothing else to add, I don't think.
Fantastic. All right, Ty is
Since we're in
absent.
the meeting, I'll
Adam?
come up with something.
What's that?
I said as soon as we adjourn the meeting, I'll have to think of something.
You can always email us.
Yeah. Oh, good. Sorry.
No worries. Adam?
I've been reading the signal reports and there's some good feedback in those on topics people would like to see. So probably after field day, start incorporating some of those, but nothing concrete.
Excellent. Do you want to add anything to the signal report article that goes into Sparks, or just leave it kind of as is?
No, it's fine as is.
Okay. Scott?
I don't have anything. I'm good on snacks for the month.
All right. Mike?
Nothing to add. I'll be reaching out to Jonathan and we'll be working together over the weekend.
Okay. Appreciate that greatly. Joe?
We had another student from tech class 225 get their license, so we're up to 8. That was a lady in Houston who's a principal, and the other lady from Texas has had some sickness, but she said she was going to get her license, so that'd be when she gets hers. That's 9 out of the 13, so it's coming up better than we had at the very beginning. And I'm planning a tech class this summer. It might start on June the 30th or the first week in or the second week in July, since the 4th of July is the 7th is a Monday in July. I'm not sure exactly how we're wanting and whether it'd be a Monday or Thursday night.
Okay.
But that's what I'm looking at now, and have it in before Huntsville trip.
Fantastic. That would be fun. On a side, Joe, because I forgot to mention this, Fred mentioned with Neshoba, they have a really good relationship with the library in Germantown. And then if we wanted to do something like a seminar on the Saturday of field day, the library would potentially allow us to do something in the air conditioning inside as like an introductory seminar or come understand kind of thing there in the library while field day's happening over at the pavilion. So if you want to think about that or have somebody that might want to do that, that could be a lot of fun.
Well, I was thinking possibly about testing.
Testing would be awesome. Fred would probably love that. So that would be fantastic as well.
I mean, it'll take 4 or 5 of us to run it. But that's something that I was thinking about. And that gets you the educational points.
Absolutely. All right, that's an excellent consideration. All right, didn't mean to skip you, Dan. We just got sidetracked for a moment. Dan, you want to?
Well, I guess we'll shoot for the 31st on Methodist North.
All right, sir.
There'll probably be a cost in fixing the 35 amp power supply, but I think it's going to be less than $100, maybe even $50.
That seems very reasonable. Do you know of what supplies we might need from a coax or a connector perspective for Methodist North?
I probably 2 ends, and it's not a very far run. It's like maybe 50 to 70 feet run. So we'll see what Ham has. And I'm probably going to look at getting a coring tool that will go on a 1/2 inch, and you just crank the ends on it and it cuts everything perfectly. If not, we'll just cut it by hand, but I've seen coring tools that work pretty nice.
Okay. Just let us know. You have a budget line item that has an approved funding amount. So if you need it, you're certainly well within the realm of being able to acquire it and then get reimbursement for it. So appreciate that.
I'm
All right.
going to Dayton, so looking around and seeing what they got there too on tools is and other
I keep
things.
forgetting that you're gonna. Dayton sounds like a lot of fun. One of these years I'll actually make it. All right. Last call for any opening or closing comments, and then we will entertain a motion to adjourn and give you a little bit of time back. Appreciate everybody's time tonight.
I'd like to say thanks for Jonathan for attending the meeting tonight.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yes, sir. Speaking of that, because that is one closing comment that I've made. Mike, thank you for finding somebody to mentor you and kind of transition your position. Jim, I know you're still looking for a mentor / apprentice / trainee. So let us know if you've got any potential candidates there. And Scott, I know that you've got a kind of candidate in the wings for your position at some point when you're ready. I think Matt's kind of stepping into that role a little bit. So I mentioned that because we're kind of at the halfway point of the year. If you think about that, so that we can have somebody step into your shoes without having to just step in cold, that's awesome at the end of the year. All right. With that, I have nothing further. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So,
I make a motion. to adjourn.
second.
All right. Motion made by Mike Harrison to adjourn, seconded by Perry. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you so much, everyone. Y'all have a wonderful evening. Thank you for your time.
Thank you,
Good
Joe.
night, everybody.
Bye, y'all.
See you
Good night, John Boy.
Night, Ma.
Good night.
All right, take care.